post-election crash out from this large TikTok creator. First, though, we're going to get some takes pre-election. Let's take a look.
There is some good news. There is some not so good news. Also, before people keep commenting and asking, I am not getting paid by the campaign to make these videos. I just truly love Tim Walz, and I especially love amplifying the message of adopting rescue pets.
So there's a few more like that coming up. I find the idea of loving Tim Walz as a politician so funny.
Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
Sticking with the theme of VP candidates and pets, check this one out. Do you remember this story?
People all over the internet are making fun of very normal vice presidential candidate JD Vance for how he held his dog's leash on the campaign trail last week. A key detail y'all are missing though, I think he's lying about that being his dog. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain because this is nuts.
Do you remember this? I remember JD Vance talking about that with Tucker Carlson.
Well, first of all, before we start, who is that? This is Atlas. Atlas, come here. What's up, buddy? So this is Atlas, which I found out on the internet a few weeks ago that he's actually a rent-a-dog that was given to me by the campaign to make me seem like I'm a dog fan.
How
this
weird.
Is,
how weird.
It's actually hysterical to hear these lefties be like, oh, that dog, that's totally not his dog.
She even had another post questioning whether or not that was JD Vance's dog. I mean, at least one more post that I saw.
First, it's very important that we understand the mindset of JD Vance in this moment. Here you have Tim Walz getting a ton of positive press for his rescue dog Scout, his rescue cats, Afton and Honey.
I didn't even know Tim Walz had pets. I covered the election quite a bit. I was at least aware JD Vance had a dog. Did you know that Tim Walz had these rescue animals? Last little clip I'll play here about the JD Vance dog situation, but...
Oh my God. So I had a theory that the dog that Usha Vance is holding as a puppy is a totally different dog than JD Vance brought with him on the campaign trail. And the German Shepherd community has...
What the heck? So funny.
This is an ABC News election update. Now reporting, David Muir.
Good morning. It's now 5:35 here in the East. We are allowing all of our stations across the country to join us now with the breaking news. We are projecting at this hour the 47th president of the United States, Donald Trump, will be elected to return to the White House.
We're now post-election here. We're going to cover two short videos. Here's the first one. Let's take a look.
Got bangs yesterday. Who else scheduled a haircut and a blowy? It's a blowout. 3 months in advance because they were so looking forward to all of the celebrations after Kamala winning and they wanted their hair to look super fresh. And then that day.
She was not the only person that was anticipating celebrating a Kamala victory. Do you remember this clip went crazy viral post-election?
He's asked me, why I was getting the champagne. And I said, because I'm going to be toasting Madam President tonight. And he just looked at me with kind of like a smirk on his face. And I said, she's going to win this, right? And he says, oh, well, it's very, very close. And I said, no, it's not. She's won this. And I said to him, she's going to take every one of the swing states plus Iowa.
Now we are going to get to the main election meltdown for this video. It's about a 2.5-minute video posted 2 days after the election. So funny.
What really baffles me about this election is the total detachment from reality.
You sure about that?
From reality, and I keep coming back to this analogy. So if you're a Trump voter, say you own a company, you work at a company, whatever your employment situation is, okay? You're a hiring manager. 2 candidates are placed before you. The first candidate, right out the gate, 34 felonies. He would be unhireable in any industry, construction, tech.
I mean, already off to such an unbiased analysis of the 2 candidates.
STEM, finance, you name it, he would be unhireable. Why? Because he would be a complete liability. Most organizations have policies on that. In my industry, if I get a speeding ticket, I have to report it.
It's such a bad analogy. He won like the most fair job application you could have. The entire country voted to have him do the job.
So let's look at that. For all of the talk about the polling ties, in the end, this is a pretty decisive
victory for Donald Trump. Take us inside it.
There's a very good chance Trump is going to go 7 for 7 in the core battleground states. But the victory he's put up here goes beyond those battleground states. These are the electoral votes. Let's flip it over and show you what the popular vote looks like right now. And you can see Trump right now with an outright majority of the popular vote, an advantage of more than 5 million votes.
So this is quite the analogy. Would you rather have one random HR person and maybe a small committee, or the entire country choose the president?
Get a speeding ticket. I have to report it within 3 days. A speeding ticket. You decide to dig a little deeper though, right? And you come to find that his references, his former coworkers, none of them will vouch for him. Some of them call him a threat to national security. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, there's a public petition where they're essentially pleading with the American public not to hire him. So all of those people...
None of them. Like, that was such a narrative that they tried to spin. Some people tried to say, like, some very high percentage of Trump cabinet members did not want him to win. That was just obviously not the case. There were a few.
He's certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators. He has said that.
Like maybe a John Kelly.
So all of those people who used to work for him, his good buddies at one point, they're all like, nope, absolutely not. But wait,
it's not all of them. Like, that's just simply not accurate.
There's more. Then you come to find that he actually got a bunch of his buddies to go jump his former workplace, his former office. They just vandalized it. They terrorized people. They incited violence. They incited a riot at his former workplace. Not
a bunch of his buddies. Like, the way that's framed is quite interesting.
Not to mention all of his financial problems. He would absolutely never pass a credit check in my industry. That's for damn sure. And that's not even all of it, but let's just stop while we're ahead.
A credit check. You don't think Trump could just be like, hey, I own Mar-a-Lago. See that building in Chicago? See all these golf courses? But he wouldn't pass a credit check? For what?
Shall we? Then you have candidate 2. Candidate 2 has extensive experience in all aspects of the role for which she's applying. She's the successor to the person currently in that role, meaning she has great oversight of what the role does and what it requires, and she's ready. Her references have
How about the fact that Donald Trump, President Trump, did the job already for 4 years? What about that?
Well, I just had the opportunity to have an excellent conversation with President-elect Trump.
Incredible things to say about her, no criminal record, but you don't really like some of her answers to the interview questions.
That's for sure.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
So you decided to go with candidate 1. Now I want anyone who voted for him to look me in the eye and tell me honestly, okay, swear on that Bible that y'all are so fond of bringing up all the time, tell me honestly that you would be willing to hire someone to your organization or refer someone for a role, okay? Put your reputation on the line for someone with his track record.
This is such a funny framing. Just like the HR, a lot of these women happen to be super liberal theory of how the world works. And
for a role, okay?
I mean, President Trump would be amazing at so many roles in corporate America. You see, like, nobody has his ability to sell, to market, to push things through to completion, like, quickly.
Put your reputation on the line for someone with his track record. Any organization, any leader would look at you like you were fucking bananas, because you'd have to be. You'd have to be. Moreover, I want you to tell me that you would be comfortable with your daughter going on a date with someone who had 34 felonies. No organization would ever.
Man, this is a brutal meltdown. What an unhinged statement. Your daughter, give me a break, lady.
Hire Donald Trump because of the liability and risk he would pose to the organization, and yet you just elected him president of the United States.
Facts. Let's go.
We won. We won.
What a meltdown. What a terrible meltdown. I had not seen that one until this point, but I mean, that last little clip there, I would say was awful. But anyway, with that said, I'll finish the video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.